Hi, welcome to the In My Opinion show with host Ronald Berry Robinson and friends, seen on the internet 24 hours, 7 days a week on popular sites like YouTube and Facebook. The In My Opinion show is also seen on Comcast Cable Television Channel 17, Flint, Michigan, every Saturday at 6 p.m. and Wednesday at 8:30. The In My Opinion show is seen on Comcast Cable Television Channel 68 in Detroit, Michigan, 7 days weekly. Consult your community calendar. It is a pleasure to introduce Marty Embry. Marty Embry is an entrepreneur, former professional athlete, author, and chef. Welcome.
Thank you. Now that I have a swollen head, but thank you.
Well, listen, we are going to get right into this because we've got a lot to talk about today.
We do.
So first off, I wanted to ask you, are you originally from Flint?
No, actually, I was born in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and I
Okay.
moved here when I was about 2 years old, and this is now my home.
Okay.
So I'm transplanted.
You're
I'm
transplanted.
transplanted.
Okay. So coming up from the South, I'm sure that you probably made the journey back home sometime for vacations, perhaps?
Yeah, but it's been a while.
Okay.
I think the last time I actually went there was when I was maybe 15 years old. So it's
Okay.
been a while now. Most of my family is here. They migrated to Chicago and to North Carolina and to Michigan. So we're here now.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
it's a
right.
good thing. It's a good
Okay.
thing. I still have quite a bit of family in Arkansas. Surprisingly, we stay in touch on Facebook. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy, but that's technology, and I just love it. I love it.
Gotta love it.
Hmm. Okay, well, tell me about you as far as your school here in Flint. You
In
did go to
Flint?
school.
Yes, I did. I went to Flint Central Indians when they were real Indians.
Oh.
So I did that and played basketball. We won 2 state championships, and from there I went on to DePaul University
Okay.
and graduated there, and my career took off over in Europe.
Okay. Okay. So when you were at DePaul, you were a scholar athlete, I'm sure.
Yes, we had no choice. Basketball got me there. The academics for me is the main reason I chose DePaul. It was a
Okay.
very tough school to go to.
Mhm.
Coming out of Central, I think I was prepared for it. But then when I got there, it was like a slap in the face. I mean, the rigors of collegiate basketball with academics was incredibly difficult. So I graduated in 4 years, just as the rest of my teammates that came in with me. So I think that was the first class that we all graduated in 4 years. And I have a social science degree with the primary field being psychology.
Okay.
And my secondary is history.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
it's a dirty job, but somebody had to do it,
Hey,
so.
well, I'm happy that you did.
Yes, I
You
did.
know, because I know so many times the athletes are seen as okay, so they're just gonna get passed. And
Yeah.
so from your experience, it was more than that.
Yeah, and for me, we get stereotyped, and I wanted to take that dumb jock syndrome and just dispel it completely.
Good.
So my focus when I went to DePaul, the only arrangement that I had with DePaul is I need to be out in 4 years. And that means no nose picking classes, no basket weaving classes. Everything I took, it went directly towards my major. So I actually had a plan before I got there. And the only promise that DePaul made to me was that I would graduate.
Okay.
And that's all I needed.
All
That's
right.
all I needed. So,
That was
yeah.
great.
Mhm.
Absolutely
Yeah.
great. When you left DePaul, where did you end up going?
Wow. Take out a dartboard with a map and just toss it. I played in 9 different countries. I played for a team in Spain, Italian teams, Japanese team, Belgium. I was all over. I spent most of my time playing for Italian teams.
Okay.
And I think even with cooking,
Mm-hmm.
I took advantage of the fact that I was over there to play basketball. That was my job.
Mm-hmm.
But cooking was secondary to me. So I ended up getting into a lot of the restaurants, and we had owners that had friends that own restaurants, and they got me involved in the restaurant business over there as well. So my off time, I still spent time in the kitchens in Europe, which for me that was the best culinary school I could have gone to.
Oh, word.
Mhm.
That is interesting. I didn't even think about you in terms of doing that. I thought primarily you were over there playing ball, and then your downtime was your
Yeah,
downtime.
yeah. Well, we know we practice. There are
Mm-hmm.
some teams I played with. We would practice, 3 hours in the morning, three in the afternoon. So it's kind of difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But then there were some teams that we practiced with. We had an hour and a half to 2 hours, once a day. So I had a lot of free time.
Okay.
I'm deeply into art. I'm deeply into art history,
Mm-hmm.
and playing in Europe. I mean, that's where it's at.
Yes.
So for me, it was more than just basketball. And I wanted to take advantage of every aspect, every element of what I was about. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do it in Europe, and I think I did a pretty good job of it. Everything that I did then, I'm kind of parlaying that into something more than just a hobby now.
Okay. Okay. Well, that is quite interesting. One of the things I'm curious about, though, did you learn some of the languages while you were there?
I learned, oh my God, I spoke at one point, I think I spoke 5 different languages.
Oh, right.
Forgotten it all.
Oh,
Forgotten it
okay.
all. I speak Italian now. That's probably my best language.
Okay.
I still have a lot of Italian friends, and it's really strange. They'll call me on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking to me in English, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
responding to them in Italian.
Oh, and they
Okay,
love
and I
it.
didn't even speak Italian when I was there, and I speak more now than I did when I was there. So yeah, I have great, great, great friends from Europe, and so I try to stay on top of the languages. Although I've forgotten my French, and Japanese was one of the most difficult languages to learn.
No doubt.
Commercially, I can still speak a little bit, but I would say Italian is my strongest.
Okay.
Mhm.
Very interesting. And so you were in Europe and the other countries for a total of 9 years?
13.
13.
13.
13.
Yeah.
And what was your average? Would you stay maybe 1 or 2 years at each one? How did that work?
Well, that's how it worked out, but not because the team didn't want me.
Mm-hmm.
Also, early on in my career, I knew that we were very limited with our actual careers.
Okay.
So it could be an average of 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to maximize dollars when I was there.
Okay.
And so I showed allegiance to the teams that showed allegiance to me. And by that, I mean, you pay me to play. This is my job. I want to be paid to play.
Mm-hmm.
If I got better offers, I would look at each situation and assess it. If I felt like, that was a better place for me to be in as far as growth
Mm-hmm.
professionally, I would leave.
Okay.
I felt that maybe two teams in Europe that I spent more than 1 year with probably helped me grow
Okay.
as an athlete more so than the other countries or the other teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, how was it in terms of you getting back and forth to the United States when you wanted to see family, or did you have them come over there to see you? How did that work?
My first year, I was limited because I was a rookie. I didn't know the ropes. We had basically one plane ticket,
Mm-hmm.
one round trip plane ticket. That was
Okay.
it.
Okay.
A couple of my buddies flew over that year, so that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I started asking for more tickets. So by the time I became a seasoned veteran, I had maybe 10 tickets, and
Okay.
I left it open for my family to come and go because for me, it's my job.
Right.
For them, it's kind of boring. Dad is playing, basketball. My husband's playing basketball. I don't want to be here.
Okay.
That's not how it was.
Right. I
I
understand.
gave them the choice to come and go as they saw fit because I didn't have that luxury. I would leave. Sometimes they would give us a Christmas break, and that was rare.
Mm-hmm.
But I accepted that because it's my job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right. Very good. Okay. Well, we talked about your major in school and your activities overseas. So now we want to just ask you before we move on to another subject relative to athletes. If you had a message for athletes that are listening to this program or watching this program today, what would you have to tell them?
excuse me. I say the same thing to all of our athletes. Don't let the system use you.
Mm-hmm.
You use the system.
Okay.
And by that I mean I see so many of our athletes that they have the potential
Mm-hmm.
to do great things, both athletically and professionally. But they never get a chance to achieve it because the system uses them. and they get used up and they get tossed away.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing with an athlete is you go to that college,
Mm-hmm.
they're using you. They got you there for a reason. They didn't get you there because you are a good guy.
Right.
They got you there to play a sport.
Mm-hmm.
You're making money for that program.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you to use that program. So by using that program, it's a trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
You get your degree, they get a good athlete. That's the only trade-off you can have.
Mm-hmm.
I try to impress it upon all of our student athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them get it, some of them don't. If you leave college after 4 years and don't have your degree, you were used.
Mm-hmm.
I would demand, even for parents, even though their kid is 21 and they're a junior or they're a senior in high school, I would demand that they take some act right and they go up there and they talk to the AD.
Mm-hmm.
They talk to whomever they need to talk to. I need my son or I need my daughter to get that degree in 4 years. They have no excuse. They have summer classes. If they are failing in something, most universities have study tables.
Right.
They have a mandate with the NCAA where they have to graduate a certain percentage of their student athletes. If they don't, they lose scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
So put that pressure on that team, on that school. I say, I need my son, I need my daughter to graduate. For me, it's real simple. So I push that all the time. That's my mantra.
Okay. Okay. And what are you doing today relative to the athletes here in locally?
I am the athletic coordinator for the Flint Community Schools.
Okay.
I oversee all athletics in high school and
Mm-hmm.
middle school and elementary school. So I get a chance to see athletes when they are at a very young stage, and I can kind of project if they're going to be good athletes.
Mm-hmm.
I try to talk to parents often about their kids. Sometimes, parents, can be in denial about how good their kid really is.
Okay.
And I don't hold any punches. I say, your kid has potential. I'll never say a kid doesn't have the potential because I think every kid has it.
Mm-hmm.
But the parent needs to understand that there are levels of potential as well. So you can't expect, your son to go to Georgetown
Mm-hmm.
when realistically he could be a Division, 3 player or NAIA player.
Right.
That's a reality check for both the child and for the parent. But that's my job. That's my role.
Mm-hmm.
I like to see every kid attend post-secondary. Realistically, it's not going to happen, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to take that dream away from the kid because I'm going to try to do what I can to help that kid achieve that goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy my job.
Good. And you've been doing that job how long?
10 years now.
10 years.
10 years.
Wow.
Went by fast too.
Okay, great. Okay, now we're going to switch gears because we talked about you being an entrepreneur, an author, and a chef. So now we're going to move on to the author and chef portion.
Yes, my favorite. That is my favorite.
Okay, well, we have in front of us a few of your books. And so what we'd like for you to do is to talk about each one of the books that you have here. Give us as much information as you'd like to share.
We're going to be here for a while, folks.
Oh, no.
No, The Monster Within, this was a very interesting book without giving too much of the details away. It's a book about domestic violence. I started getting involved with the program, Real Men Wear High Heels. And that kind of prompted me to look into what domestic violence was all about. It wasn't in my household. My dad never raised his hand to my mom never raised her hand to my dad.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I got older, I saw a lot of people that were going through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I call that a silent killer because it's like you're forced to be silent. So I wanted to write something about that. And there's a twist to the book.
Before you go on, though, tell me just a little bit about this Real Men Wear High Heels. I didn't want to lose that.
So. It's a program with the YWCA.
Oh, okay.
Real Men Wear High Heels. Okay, there's some bass in my voice for that one, but it's about domestic. But they raise money. Men walking around from the Y down to Blackstones.
Really?
In a pair of high heels.
Okay.
And they found I wear a 16. They found high heels that fit me.
Whoa. Okay.
I never wear those shoes again, but I had a good time, and then to see men come out, I'm talking men that were entrepreneurs and guys that own their businesses and CEOs and CFOs and husbands and brothers, and they all came out to support this one cause that I'd never heard of before.
Interesting.
I'm like, this is okay. that piqued my interest.
Sure.
And the one thing about my writing is that whenever I find anything to pique my interest, I'm going to jump into it and write about it.
Okay.
Quietly a lot of times, but nonetheless, I write about it.
Okay.
That's where The Monster Within really pretty much was born from.
Okay.
Without giving away too much of the book, it is a book about domestic violence with a twist that I think every person that has gone through it or knows a person that's gone through it, or even an organization that deals with it, can highly benefit from letting their folks read that book.
Okay.
The ending could have gone. I actually had two endings for it, and I chose the one that I felt gave more hope.
Okay.
Without giving too much away.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
We don't want you to give anything away.
All right.
And the name of the book again is
called The Monster Within.
All right. Okay.
Then I have. I know it's tough. Diary of a Food Whore.
Oh my! Now that's a real interesting title.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about that title.
Yeah. Well, let me just preface it by saying hello. My name is Marty Embry, and I'm a food whore. And what that means is I have an infinite love of all things food. I don't think there is anything that you can tell me about food that evokes a bad memory.
Okay.
Food is the one thing that brings people together. It's Big Mama's house on Sundays. Is somebody dies. What do we do? We have a huge dinner for all of the family to get together. When people graduate from high school, college, elementary, what do? We have a huge dinner to show that this is a gathering for somebody that we love and care about.
Sure.
So my love, it goes back many, many, many years. My mother and father both were pretty good cooks, and it was something that came naturally for me and was really easy. So now that I wrote a book about it, I talk about from the time I was 5 or 6 years old, in the kitchen with my mother and father.
What were you doing in the kitchen at 5 and 6? Tell me.
You know what they do, and I did it in my household as well.
Okay.
They give me the stuff to cut, the stuff to peel, the stuff to chop.
Okay.
Not necessarily in front of a stove, but the stuff prepping to get the stuff into the pot and pan.
Okay.
But what that does is just like learning another language. They give you the easy stuff first. You learn the numbers, you learn the, basic stuff. Hello, how are you? It's the same thing in the kitchen. You learn the basics first. You learn how to chop stuff. You learn how to mince. You learn how to, watch my mother dredge, and things like that. And I think it goes from there, and then you start growing. So as each chapter, you read each chapter, you'll see that, well, I was actually growing. You watch me grow up, or you read about me growing up. And I have funny stories about my family, what they did, during that time. It's realistically, I probably could have written another book just about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And after each chapter, there's recipes talking, from that era that I was cooking at.
Okay. So,
very, very, very funny book, enlightening. I think every chef has his story.
Okay.
They just haven't written about it yet. So. And then I have.
Oh, before you go through to that one, I have to mention, the title is very provocative, but you mentioned that you have some recipes in the back. Is that something that you want to share? At least maybe one or two of what they might be, or
well, I can share that, but here's the thing. At every stage of my life, there was something that was learned. So just say in elementary school, there was the basic stuff. The stuff you go get the little pizzas and the little English muffins, and you put the tomato sauce and all that. Well, for me, it was different because it was too easy. I wanted to go and get the muffins, but I wanted to make my own sauce. I wanted to, cook everything. I don't want to open up a can and rub it. So it was different for me.
Okay.
As I got older, it was making, the Sunday dinners. Watching my mother cook for so many years, it came a point in time when I wanted to cook for her. So you're gonna have like the southern stuff is in there. Okay. So then I played basketball in Europe. So when I played in different countries or different teams, different regions cook differently. The Italian league, for example, they have up north is different, more different than the south.
Okay.
So I have recipes from the northern part of the country and also from the southern part of the country. I have recipes from Japan, from Spain, which is some of the best food ever. but it's all in a book, and it's my favorites. So,
Okay.
people will talk about paella, for example. I don't know. It's easy to make if you know the process. Well,
Okay.
it's simplified in here. And I'm actually going to do a cookbook. I just released my 8th cookbook. I'm going to do another cookbook now that I'm working on. It's really geared towards men and women that don't like to cook. And it's really going to be titled.
That would be me.
You may not like the title though, so it's called Cooking for Dummies, and then I scratch out dummies and put I mean men.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So but I'm purposely making that book because I get so many of my friends that say, man, I don't know how you do that. That seems so hard. It looks more difficult than it is. And for me, it's easy. I can go to your house right now and go in there and probably make you a 5-course meal, and you wouldn't think that you had things in there to make a 5-course meal. And you tell me the cuisine, and I can pretty much match what you have for that cuisine if you have some key spices. So that's it.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta love it.
Absolutely. Well, I do. I certainly do. Now, tell us about this third book you have here.
The third book is currently unreleased, and this is for my organo gold people. Coffee, and this is not me selling organo gold. This is me being a person who loves cooking, and it was brought to me, and I wanted to do something outside of the box. So I devised a lot of dessert recipes with organo gold. We're using coffee as the base. I think is delicious. What goes better with coffee than a nice dessert? Everything from different types of cookies to cakes to pies, you name it. I got something in here for you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an extension of the whole Diary of a Food Whore thing.
Okay.
So.
Now, I thought I heard you say earlier that you've written several books.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So how many all total?
I think I'm at number 18 with also with 3 being written using a pen name that probably no one would ever find out about it because it's so controversial.
Okay.
There's one that I'm writing right now, and it touched me in such a way that I wanted to make sure that I hit it home. So that is being written as using a pen name.
Okay.
But I think it's a story that needs to be told because we see it so much. I'm sure that you've seen this subject countless times in your profession.
Okay.
I have 3 poetry books out, and I went through a depression years ago. And I'm a depressive, once a depressive, always, but we go up and down. It's a roller coaster. I don't want people to stigmatize it or to make it seem like that, you're this person that's strange or you're depressive. That's not what it's about. So I wanted to learn what it was about, and then for me to go and talk to someone that couldn't tell me what it was about bothered me. So I did a book called Diary of a Depressive, which tells the story of how I overcame it. Okay. And I did it for a reason because so many people out there don't understand what they're going through. And you get a doctor to use all of the big words.
Right. And
it's just going over folks' head. So I came from a layman's position and said, read this. And when folks read that book, they said, that's exactly what I'm going through. And and again, that's something that piqued my interest. And I felt like there was a need for it. And I don't have any shame. I'm not ashamed of anything that I've done or that I go through. It's part of who I am. It was that thing makes me me.
Right.
So I did the poetry books during the deepest part of the depression, and before I realized what it was, I completed really 3 books of poetry, each about 175 pages apiece. I mean, I was writing.
My word, yes, you were.
Writing. I couldn't turn it off.
Okay.
It just kept going on and on and on. I'm never tired because I had a full battery. It just wouldn't turn off.
Okay.
And then from that, I did the 8 cookbooks. Another story about my family. It's called Dark Secrets from the South, about my grandparents. A great love story, triangle, love triangle.
Okay.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. So I write about things that I think I'll have enjoyment reading. and I'm hoping that folks who read the book, they feel the same way about it.
Okay, okay. Well, how will they get those books?
Right now, I have not released Dark Secrets yet. I actually have someone that is making that into a screenplay.
Oh,
Yeah, and I think it's that good.
Okay.
They think it's that good.
okay.
But I have a website for my spices and for my apparel and for my books. It's www.watchdudesite.com.
Say that again, please.
Watchdudesite.com.
Watchdudesite.com. Okay. All right. Wow. Well, that is phenomenal. And so people can get that information off the website as well as obtaining the books.
The books.
All right. That is just wonderful. Well, it's been a pleasure. I know we could probably talk more. I will have to get you back on. That's what we'll do. We'll do that. Okay. Well, I would like to thank my distinguished guest, Marty Embry, for being with us today and sharing his wonderful and varied adventures.
Told you.
Okay. And it's propelled you to greatness, and I'm really proud of you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate
Okay. Well, the In My Opinion show is sponsored again by Ronald Berry Robinson, and this is Denise Smith Allen. And I would like to thank you all for viewing, and also want to say to you that each time when we part, we say, stay focused.